Good afternoon. Can you hear that? Silence. You know what that means? It means Nikki is away for the weekend. And to keep me out of the pub, I'm going to do a review of this Vtoman 2200 jump. So you know, if you watch our channel, we're not about the reviews and we haven't been sent this, so we've actually bought this. So yeah, let's get on and do a review of this thing and keep me out of the pub.
Hiya, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Billy.
And this is our rescue dog,
Pablo.
Pablo.
So last year we decided to get married, jack our jobs in so we could travel more in our van. So if you want to see how we get on with that, just hit subscribe. It's completely free. We'll hopefully catch you on the road sometime.
Okay, so as we said, we bought this. We didn't get sent this. This isn't like a freebie that we've got to review. And if you are watching, Chinese companies that keep on emailing us with loads of cheap Chinese stuff, we're not interested. If you actually watched our channel, you would know I don't need a welding torch. What am I going to do with a welding torch? And anything that's too technical to fit, we don't have a clue. So stop offering us it. But let's get back to this. So we used to have a Bluetti, 716 watt hours. We ran our air fryer off it and it seemed like a good idea, but that will chew through that power. So we went and bought something bigger. Now, looking around, this, although it is an older model, offers a lot of power for the actual price. So on the website, it was about 550 quid, but we're 50 quid off. So this is coming in at 500 quid and we sold the Bluetti for 200. So we've balanced out about 300. We've wiped our noses with the Bluetti. So at the 500 quid for this sort of power, hopefully this will be able to run things like the kettle, the air fryer, and we won't have to use the gas. And if we can save as much gas as possible before we go to Morocco, more the better. So let's go and have a look and see what's actually in this thing. We have, start off with, move that around there, some stickers. So obviously I'll have to stick these on the guitar case of fame. Not all of them, but one of them will have to go on there, so stickers. Then comes this. So this is the cables. So let's have a look what we've got in here. We have your charging brick. So that is your brick. So that indicates it's an older style of charger. And that will charge up using this cable here. And it will take a bit of time, but we'll see how long a charge takes. And then we have this one, which is for the cigarette lighter, so you can charge on the fly. Now I suspect that this takes quite a while to do as well. And what else we got? We've got some little cables. Not sure what they're for. They must be to charge other stuff off it. There doesn't seem to be anything to plug in solar, so you have to have your solar cables all ready. So yeah, that's the first thing that we've got in there. So now let's get on to the big puppy that's in here. Oh ho, 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 ho. So one of the things you get when you go cheap is you get weight, and there is no way around this. This is a bit of a beast compared to our last one, but you can't have everything. We're trying to do all this on a budget because, as you know, if you watch, we're retired early and we don't have a shed load of money and we want to travel. So yeah, the Vtoman. These unscrew if you're not into having a handle on top. You can unscrew that. What do we have? I'll go through it all. Right, first impressions. It's a beast and it's quite heavy. So going through, what do we have? We have your 240. They're the main reason we got this. So we can run the air fryer off that. We can run my laptop off that. We can run the Starlink off that. We can probably run all three at the same time. Yeah, so that's one of the main things we use here. You've got USBs, different ones, quick charge and stuff up here. You've got your cigarette lighter, two little inputs. I've never ever seen anybody use them. And then up here you've got your inputs. So this should work off the actual solar panel we've got in the boot. So we're going to try that in a bit and see if that works. Now, I don't know how we switch it on. Do you just press any button? Oh yeah, there you go. So it came 81% charged, and it must tell you the watts that it's using, its capacity, and we'll try all that out. Now I believe that on the back, like most of these things, there is a light. Oh, you bugger. So you can have your own disco. Not good if I'm epileptic, is it? Bloody hell. Right. Okay. So, I suppose the next thing is, let's see if we can power some stuff with it. Okay, now we do have a small travel kettle that we used on the hookup, but I thought, let's just bring the house kettle down and really, well, let's hammer it and see what happens, because that's going to draw a lot. So let's plug this in, and I'm hoping when I press this button, it won't blow. We have lift off. It's thinking about it. Kettle's on. Dog's now frightened and wants out. It doesn't like the sound. You're right there, Pablo. And yeah, it is running it. It's running at 1,879 watts. So that would absolutely cream this. But if it takes 5 minutes, it won't have used it all. And I can hear that bubbling. So it's working, but yeah, our kettle's a lot less powerful than that, but it will work on a kettle. Let's turn it off. I think that should be it off. And that's used 2% capacity, just running that. So it will power it. You wouldn't want to. So let's try the main thing that we want to do, which is the air fryer. Oh, and before I start, I did fill this up and I used our little water carrier. So as a little aside, I'll show you what we've got for carrying water. We have this. It's a little Ridge Monkey water carrier, which is great because you can pour. It's got a pour nozzle. So yeah, a little extra bonus. We love that. It's really good. Right, let's get this air fryer on. Right, the main reason we bought this, our little air fryer. Now on the other one, it seemed to be sucking about 800 watts. So that should run on here for about 3 hours, maybe. But let's see if it was 800 watts or not. I'm not going to put it on long, obviously. Oh, we've got lift off. Taking 3 watts, 5 watts. What am I doing wrong? You have to shut the door, don't you? It doesn't work unless you shut the door. So it is drawing at the moment 929 watts, which is more than it was when we had food in it because it is empty. But yeah, that will cook an air fryer, and it's not even forcing it to actually overwork. So that's excellent. I really like that. So the theory of air fryer, 900 watts. So we can use this air fryer if we use it 20 minutes to cook some food. We'll get about 6 days before we have to recharge this. So the theory probably holds true. And we've got the solar power and occasional hookup to put the juice back into this. So I think, yeah, job's a good one. So one of the other things we have to do when we're traveling is I have to keep on top of my grooming. So here's my shears. Now I don't know whether these will draw too much or not, but we'll switch them on. And not only for my head, but when we're going to beaches and lot, it's nice to do a bit of, you know, the old manscaping, isn't it? You know, we are modern old people after all. So let's see if I'm going to be able to manscape on holiday. You know what, that uses hardly any wattage at all. I should be fully manscaped, and I'll tell you a funny story, right? So, turn this off. I was doing my hair, and we were going to Crete in a few months. And I went to do a bit of manscaping, and I made a mistake, and I put the shears straight through the middle of my belly. So I ended up with a complete stripe off. So I thought, oh, going to Crete in a couple of months, need it to grow back evenly. So I shaved it all off, like completely empty, bald. Yeah, but I'm quite white as well, you know, not very suntanned. And then I had to go see a doctor because I appeared to have passed a kidney stone while we were away in the van. And she wanted to inspect me. So she said, can you get on the bed and lift your top? And I said, look, before I do this, I need to tell you something. I said, I've had a bit of an accident with the shears, and I've ended up having to take all my hair off the front. And she said, well, that's okay, it's not a problem, we don't judge. I said, yes, but when I lie on this bed and get my top off, I am going to look like a beached beluga whale. And I'm not sure whether she knew how to take that at all. But I'm still allowed back to the doctors. But yeah, true story. Be careful when you manscape. Why did you buy this power station and not some other similar price power station? I hear none of you ask. The reason we did that was because of this. So a few months ago, when we got to go to a festival, we got in the van, nothing, absolutely dead. We had to go up and get somebody to bring their Land Rover battery down and plug it in, and we jump start, ran it for 20 minutes, went to the festival, never had a problem in the months after. So we left something on, we're not sure what. So if anybody out there has had that experience and found out what they left on, because we can't find a single thing that we might have left on, let us know. But this one here, you can buy this accessory. So what I didn't show you was these two little ports here. This one here allows you to double up the size. You can add another battery onto here, which they sell, which will make this nearer 4,000 watts, which is huge. And then you've got this, which is the jumper port. And we bought this extra. So this goes into there with the cables, and the power in here is enough to start a 9-litre truck. So it should start this. Hopefully we'll never ever have to show you whether that works. But peace of mind, we've now got this, and that's why we bought this and not some other competitive things around the same price point. And it may be heavy and it may have an older charger, but yeah, it's going to start our van if we need it to. Okay, before I go and do some more on that, just before I leave, I have to take this extension down. So this is the extension to our kitchen bench. And by doing that, I've done this for 18 months. You lift them 2 brackets off and drop it down. Okay. And somebody said, do you not use the quick release buttons? I went, quick release buttons? 18 months of having this thing, and there's actually 2 buttons that do that. How much easier is that? So I'm not going to tell Nikki, and if she doesn't watch this vlog, she'll never know. But yeah, can't remember who it was, but thank you. Right, well, you know how useless we are. I've just gone to connect this, and I'm using the cable that's off our Duetti. Too big. Mad panic, because we were tidying up yesterday, ready for our journey, and we've thrown loads of stuff out. And included in that was loads of old cables. So I've been down to the bin, emptied the bin out, been through the bin, can't find it. Then I remembered I might have left a cable which I thought was another Bluetti one. And it isn't. It's actually the small one. So this actually fits there. So hopefully when I swap this over, it'll work. But let's see. Moment of truth, it's not sunny at all, but I just want to see that this actually works. So let's see if we can get any power into here at all. So there's no sunlight, but it is trickling in. There's absolutely no sunlight, and we've got a massive, I don't know what to call it, some sort of curvy, crazy beech nut thing there as well. But we know that that works. So in sunlight, that will drag in some power. So thank God I found the cable. Otherwise, that's another expense. So make sure you have this one And I'll show you the picture of the two. They are different, and you need the smaller one, not the one that fits the Bluetti. Right, game on again. Okay, the final thing to do is to charge this up fully. And for that, we're using the charging brick. So it's an old-fashioned system, so it's a brick. Some of the more modern ones don't have this, they're directly through to the wall. We'll plug this in, but our friends Bob and Diane, who've got one of these that we met at the dog sanctuary last year in Spain, and we'll be seeing at Fieldview Adventures next weekend, they've had one of these and their brick failed and they had to get another one. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what actually happens. They also say the cigarette lighter gets really hot when you're traveling, when you're charging it up. So we'll plug this in. It's about 77% charged. Yeah, 300 odd watts going in. So we'll see how long that takes to charge up. So in the meantime, on the back of the story about the beluga whale, the reason Nikki thought I'd actually get banned from that doctor's was that about a month beforehand, I'd gone there, hadn't told her I'd found something, but I found a lump where you don't want to find a lump. And I went along to see the doctors. Before we get there, nothing wrong, perfectly all right. But I go to the doctors and you have to queue up in the morning, 8:30, to try and get an appointment. So I'm there, 8:30, waiting. There's a queue of old women behind me. And I get to the counter and she says, before we can let you have an appointment, you're going to have to tell us what you need the appointment for. So I thought, oh, well, we'll just go for it here. I just went, I found a lump in my testicles. And you could hear all the old women go, oh, poor boy behind. So they arranged this doctor's appointment. So I went into the doctor's and there's this young doctor there. And I explained to him that I found this lump. I've had a bad back. I'm a bit concerned. And he sort of like, okay, well, we'll go for a questionnaire first. And he gets this questionnaire out. And the first question on this questionnaire was, have you noticed any hot sweats at night when you're sleeping? And I looked at this young doctor and I went, how would I know? He went, what do you mean, how would you know? I says, I sleep with a menopausal woman. Every night is sweaty. He didn't really comprehend that very well. And he just went, okay, we'll go on to the other question. Second question, have you noticed any difference in your sexual activity? So I just looked at him and went, I'm in my late 50s, mate. Nothing is working like it used to. And he just looked so shocked. I went, shall I just get on the table, drop me pants and you cop a feel? And he went, mm-hmm. And that is probably why she was more worried I'd get banned by the doctors come the second incident than the first one. So anyway, we'll let you know how this gets on. But in the meantime, also, we've had a message. Somebody said they'd watched our videos and they're actually off back to Portugal. Now, they're in the 70s and we've inspired them to actually start travelling again down there. And I mean, hey, it's worth doing this. Just for that alone, it's worth doing these videos. So thanks for that message. It just makes everything worthwhile. And if you want to see what we get up to as we head towards Spain, Portugal, Morocco this winter, and how we deal with taking a dog for the first time and all of the things you have to do to get into the countries like Morocco and back into Spain and then back from Spain to Europe and France and what have you, just watch and we'll detail all those. And I think Nikki's probably going to keep a running total of how much it all costs as well, because we are working on a budget, having left work early to just travel. So I shall have a look and tell you when this is fully charged, but don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to see any of that. Right? Catch you in a bit when it's charged. Okay, hands up. I forgot to time it properly. I got distracted making a moussaka for tomorrow when Nikki gets back and making my Yorkshire puddings for me and Pablo today. But don't tell Nikki I'm going to give Pablo a bit of Yorkshire pudding. So Sunday dinner for two. It took about an hour, just over, to get it to 100%. It's not actually 100%, it's 100.99%. So I don't know how that works. I had plugged something in, it's still working, it was charging my phone. And during the charge, when the batteries get hot, it has a battery management system. So it will kick in a bit like this. And don't be frightened, that's just the fans turning on to actually counteract the overheating to make sure it doesn't damage itself. So yeah, we'll try and use it in anger over the coming weeks and we'll let you know how we get on. So the Vtoman 2200 jump, which we think is going to solve even more of our gas and cooking problems on the road. We'll catch some of you on the road hopefully in the next few weeks, and if not, we'll catch you in Spain, Portugal and Morocco. Laters.
okay.